This story comes from apnews.com. This one I'm kind of confused about, but police on Wednesday arrested 3 Atlanta organizers who have been aiding protesters against the city's proposed police and fire training center, striking at the structure that supports the fight against what opponents call Cop City, which I believe they approved it now. Cop City has been approved by the city council. I read that, the update on that. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation announced its agents and Atlanta police arrested 3 leaders of the Atlanta Solidarity Fund, which has bailed out protesters and helped them find lawyers. You're not allowed to do that? You're not allowed to bail people out and help them find I don't know. That's where I'm confused. Charged with money laundering and charity fraud are Marlon Scott Cox of Atlanta, Savannah D. Patterson of Savannah, and wow, she's Savannah and she's from Savannah. Cool. And Adele McLean of Atlanta. State investigators said they found evidence linking all 3 to financial crimes. Police executed warrants at a house owned by Cox and McLean that is emblazoned with anti-police graffiti in an otherwise gentrified neighborhood east of downtown Atlanta. So this one I'm iffy. They're saying money laundering and charity fraud. But is it fraud if they use the money to bail people out? That's what the money was for, and help them find lawyers, right? Or are they asking for the money for some other reason? I don't get where I don't know. If they're raising money to bail these people out and the people got bailed out, that's not fraud, is it? And the money laundering, I don't get that part. Attorney Don Samuel said, I know what the crimes are that are alleged, but I don't know exactly what the state's alleging that these 3 people did or how they supposedly engaged in charity fraud. Hey, we need money to bail these people out. Hey, they got bailed out. Charity fraud. What? Prosecutor said the 3 would likely make their initial appearances before a judge, and I think they've already made their appearance. McLean, Couts, and Patterson are respectively the CEO, the Chief Financial Officer, and Secretary of the Network for Strong Communities, which was incorporated in 2020 and runs the Atlanta Solidarity Fund. Lauren Regan, Executive Director of the Civil Liberties Defense Center, called the arrests an extreme provocation in a statement. It does sound like this is extreme. She said, bailing out protesters who exercise their constitutionally protected rights is simply not a crime. In fact, it is a historically grounded tradition in the very same social and political movements that the city of Atlanta prides itself on. Someone had to bail out civil rights activists in the 60s. I think we all agree that community support isn't a crime. Yeah, what about the 60s and people always got bailed out? More than 40 people have been charged with domestic terrorism in connection with protests over Cop City, that training center, a cause that has garnered international attention since authorities clearing the protesters' camp on South River fatally shot an environmental activist in January. Officials say the officers fired in self-defense after the protesters shot a trooper. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is investigating that. Did I do a story? I did a story on Cop City, but I don't remember if the trooper, that incident was in my story. But it goes down from there. It's kind of lengthy. Bottom line here is that these 3 people, they bail these guys out with the Solidarity Fund, which I believe that's what it's for, right? And then they're being charged with money laundering and charity fraud. And the cops, they go to this house that has anti-police graffiti. I mean, this has corruption written all over it. It really does. And I think the attorney and Ms. Regan have a good point.